I'm just going to give you a little bit of historical background just to show you where we were 2.5 years ago to where we are now. So we started off in 2013 with Web Science, almost simultaneously exploring our oceans, and kicked off as well. Followed further, not long after, by Archaeology of Portuguese, developing a research project which is aimed at the sixth form market and shipwrecks in the submerged world. Sorry for the lack of full titles, there just wasn't enough room on the slide. The second phase in 2014 was digital marketing and also understanding language, which Kate's going to talk to you about. And then in 2015 we developed contract management and Wellington, and then followed it up with Agincourt. As you can see, these were key dates for Wellington and Agincourt. So these are our stats. In 2 years, we've developed 10 courses. We've run them so far 25 times. We've had this was about 6 weeks ago, we'd had 355,896 people who actually signed up to our courses. 162,368 learners actually turned up on the courses. And in 8 weeks, whilst we were running quite a few courses, we had a staggering 68,431 new joiners. It's really, really quite astonishing. FutureLearn started from zero. They now have over 2.75 million learners. Really quite astonishing.
And in the MOOC that we just had, there's a team of our PhD students who have been responding to the comments that people have been making, the contributions that they've been making, highlighting. Then they would send me a daily digest of the things that needed my response to, or some kind of authority. People who asked particularly good questions or particularly sticky questions. They referred up to me, and a list of all the best comments and the most popular contributions, and so I was just able to go through, and it was brilliant. I would often do this after midnight, but it was so interesting what they kind of pulled together for me that I found myself really wanting to do it, because it was really high quality engagement with people who were keen to try and sort of learn something, and so I really enjoyed that, and it was about 1 million times easier than when we were doing the original MOOC and just struggling through it ourselves, wasn't it? And so I just really like to praise the team. They've learned a lot. This team embodies a huge amount of expertise and kind of process refinement and understanding of how to put these out effectively and efficiently. And as I say, for me, the brilliant thing was just learning, just discovering that I had lots of resources I could instantly deploy in face-to-face situations.
Just got a few slides just to show you an example of what we did with the digital marketing MOOC in terms of bringing it into the classroom. And this had just happened in the last month, end of October time. Because at the start of this academic year we had about 55 new digital marketing students and about 20 marketing analytics students who were studying an intro module. So we got them, we timed the start of this MOOC deliberately so that they could participate. And they were asked to contribute 10 posts a week for the 3 weeks of the MOOC, and then to write some blog posts reflecting on what they'd learned from that experience and the advantages and disadvantages of doing it. And I think we had a lot of very positive feedback to that. We also had some quite unexpected negative feedback, but overall I think we were able to deal with most of the negative stuff, and it ended up very much on the positive side. But from the perspective of students in the classroom, what did they get from this MOOC that they perhaps wouldn't have got from a more standard lecture? For a start, we tried very hard with this MOOC to bring in PhD students. Like you've heard examples already this afternoon, people who are actually doing current live research in the area. So the two I've highlighted here, Rebecca and Ruben, they've both recently been awarded their PhDs, but they were able to report on video of real groundbreaking stuff that you wouldn't find in any textbook or even published in an academic paper yet. So the students were really getting the latest materials. And I think they also appreciated the fact that it was students that were doing it. It wasn't necessarily some big name, but it could inspire them. You too could do something like this.
just wondering about the use of visualization in this case, how helpful it may be to get a sense of what's going on in the community and the platform.
We are working. Sue is leading a project also that it's in its beta form, which is a dashboard to visualize all this MOOC activity.
Yeah. Okay.
So all these interactions, all these dynamics, we can capture them and visualize them and analyze them and let them and show them to the lead educators who not necessarily they need to spend time in doing all the analysis with Excel and with big data sets, and then we will see how educators respond to this tool.
I'm just going to say a bit about this course, Understanding Language MOOC, and then a little bit on the marketing side and the recruitment side of things. So Understanding Language, Learning and Teaching, it was a collaboration with the British Council, and at the time this was the first time that I think a Future Learn course had done this kind of thing, because we had lots of talk about how technically it was going to work and how each partner, Southampton and the British Council, were going to have equal footing in the course, and that led to a lot of kind of strange things with the design. But anyway, that's another story. So, collaboration, it's a 4-week course and it's a taste of key concepts in language teaching and learning, with the idea that it explicitly promote our online masters in English language teaching. And so it came about with an explicit marketing focus. My background is as an educator in online course design and course creation, and this was a bit strange for me, I must say, as a designer, when you have one of your most important purposes in creating the course is actually a promotional purpose. We've had 3 course runs. We've had 145,000 joiners, and over 67,000 learners have shown up for those 3 runs. So it's the biggest Southampton course, isn't it, in terms of joiners?
By far, and there's probably a few more learners because these stats were possibly while it was.
No, this is
running
from today.
Oh, you've updated it.
Yeah, I've updated it.
Oh.
Yeah, and so over the first 2 runs of the course, we had over 7,000 expressions of interest. Now, there was a link that Future Learn at the time were piloting, which you could click to register interest, and Future Learn collected all this information, passed it to us and the British Council to deal with that. And I have to say, 7,000 expressions of interest caused a bit of a detonation in our admissions team when they heard about that. As I'm sure you can imagine, but obviously we were very pleased about that. So I've got some results really from the kind of first and second run really, because there's a long time it takes to convert people from doing a MOOC and perhaps seeing them on this kind of course, or perhaps you never see them. So obviously we had 58,000 people, not learners actually, joiners for that first run. Of those, we had 105 applications for the online MA, and 60 came via the MOOC. 45 offers were made for January 2015. That's the semester 2 intake. For our online MA, we have 2 intakes in September and January, and 27 came via the MOOC, and eventually 17 students enrol, with 12 coming from the MOOC. 28 either withdrew their applications because their English wasn't good enough or because they were not a scholarship winner. Also, a new means of communication. So some of the feedback is that it's been fantastic to reach new audiences, especially audiences who are so passionate, equally passionate about the topic as the people creating the content, which has been hugely rewarding. And then, of course, this notion of reaching new audiences, people that you wouldn't necessarily reach normally, you don't see at conferences, perhaps you don't see in the classroom, but they're out there and they're interested and excited by your topic. And so it's been hugely rewarding and I think impactful in lots of ways, both tangible and intangible, within modern languages for us.